talking about is during the time of the Apostle Paul, you had our people that were Jews that kept the customs of the Jews because they knew who they were, and you had Israelites that disconnected from their heritage. So what the Apostle Paul was saying is there's no difference between a Jew or a Greek, because even in Greece at the time, what you had Greek-speaking Jews. Go on, brother.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6. Let me start from verse 1 to verse 6 here. You gotta listen.
Oh yeah.
Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers.
Right, but they were in Athens. They were in Greece. Go on.
And not to live after the laws of God.
Yeah. Right? So when you do it, this is why when you get into the Bible, right? Like a lot of people, they don't go into the historical accounts of the scriptures. You have to actually find out what was actually going on during that time. And what was going on during that time was, you had, like the brother just read, you had Jews that were in Athens, Greece, because during that time the Roman Empire, they didn't. No, but when I'm talking about during that time, the Roman Empire. During the Roman Empire, you had Israelites that were in Greece because they were conquered by the Greeks, and you had Israelites that were in ancient Rome too. Okay, so our people were scattered even at that time. Yeah. Going back to the curse, but let's further move on forward.
This is and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius.
Yeah, which Jupiter was a god that they worshipped, the Greeks. Go on. Which really was a Jake anyway. Go on.
And that in garrison of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. Right? The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people. For the temple was filled with riots and reveling by the Gentiles.
And the reason why that was is because what the Apostle Paul did, he was a man of the Israelites. He didn't care whether they were in Jerusalem or not. His whole thing was is to bring them back to that same order of things.
He said that God's not respectful of any of that though.
But I kind of get what you're saying.
He says not respectful of anything like that.
Yeah, we go. I'm gonna break that down to you.
Okay. I get what you're saying. What you're saying is did the Most High allow the Israelites that had different doctrines? That's what you're saying, right?
I'm saying that even if you look at the Acts, I get it down.
What do you mean by not respect?
Read the verse. It means it doesn't matter if you're Jew. It says it doesn't matter if you're Jew, bondman, Greek, or Greek.
Yeah, exactly, because they're all Israelites.
The same people.
They're all the same.
How can
people.
a Greek be an Israelite?
Yeah, but I'm saying the Greeks. Being a Greek, like we're all British.
Okay.
Well, I assume you were born here, right?
Okay, alright, okay. I don't consider myself.
We're all British. It's a citizenship.
Okay,
you could be a citizen of Greece.
Okay.
Paul was a citizen of Rome.
Okay.
He was a Roman. You could speak the Latin, you could speak the Greek, but he was an Israelite according to the book of Philippians. Yeah. An Israelite by nationality. Yeah. Like being a Greek, that's not a nationality.
Okay, alright.
That's a citizenship. Yeah. All right. So all the Greeks were Israelites. You were forced. Their ancestors was forced into the Greek way of life. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, to be, that's what you see on the Greek pottery. You see black people, so-called Israelites. You see white people doing the Olympics. Javelin, the discus. We was all up in that.
You're saying we were black people were citizens. You're talking about citizens.
Yeah, we are citizens in Greece, in Athens. Okay. But they, according to you had different people that were Greeks. You had different people that were Romans. See, there wasn't just white people in Rome. You had all kinds of. Okay. Anybody could be a Roman as long as you esteem the Roman way of life as being like anybody can be an American. Anybody can be an American.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it says for the temple was full of riots and reveling by the Gentiles, which is the other nations, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that, brought in things that were not lawful.
Oh, right. This is talking about during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. There you go. Because what happened was Antiochus Epiphanes, he put an end to the temple, and what they were doing was they were keeping the Sabbath, our people at the time.
Right.
So when you read that story, that's how we were conquered by the Greeks. That's how we became Greeks.
Right.
This goes back to what the brother was reading, that there's no difference between a Jew and the Greek.
Right.
Meaning the Jews that were conquered by the Greeks. You get it?
Right, the word there is Hellenistos.
Yeah.
Which means Greek-speaking Jews.
Yeah.
You look at the word Greek.
Okay.
Greek-speaking
And
Jews.
the last one, the same thing is Acts 10.34.
Hold on, let me just finish this.
Okay.
The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days
Yep.
or ancient feasts,
Yep.
or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Yep. Because
So
when
he
they
wasn't even allowed to be called Jews.
Go on.
So if they forbid us from being called Jews, what did we have to call ourselves? Greeks. Greeks.
Okay.
And what they do is they turn that temple into a place of exercise. They turn it into a big gym.
Okay.
So we became Greeks.
Okay. See. Okay.
Yeah. So that answers your question. Keep going, brother.
What was it? It was Acts 10 and 34.
Keep
Then
going.
Peter opened his mouth and said of a truth, I perceive that the Most High is no respect of persons, but in every nation he feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him.
Right.
That's the precept one. Is that it? Acts.
Yeah, that's 10:34.
10:30.
No respect to a person.
Right.
Don't get too. I'm not. You know what I
No,
mean?
no,
I'm
no.
saying. So
No,
that's
you are right, brother. You got questions.
Cool,
so what's the answer to your question?
Remember,
Because
it says here a little, there a little. Isn't it?
Exactly.
In the book,
You know
isn't
what
it?
the scriptures commands
So
us
I'm
to
just
do?
giving you two. Yeah.
Ask every man according to his questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, because you have to understand that Antiochus, he came from the land of Seleucus.
Yeah.
Because you had four of Alexander the Greek's friends that split his kingdom into four. So you had Ptolemy, Cassander, Seleucus, and Lysimachus.
Yep.
And Antiochus Epiphanes, he came from the land of the Seleucid land, and he was wicked as hell. And so obviously that's how through him, that's how came the forced conversion of Israelites into Greek way of life. So that's why he had a lot of, that's why Paul written an epistle to the Romans. Those are Israelites in Rome who call themselves Romans. And I'm trying to get the scripture, man.
It's the ultimate thing, and if you can, if you don't mind, I just wanted to bring Deuteronomy 28 and 64. Because the whole thing of what happened to us as a nation was we all were scattered abroad. That was the curse due to because of what we did wrong. So as time went on, we were scattered. We went into. This is why we were taken captives into Babylon and all of the above because of the curse.
Let's start with Deuteronomy 28 and 15 because that's the first.
Now, just get to the point.
Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even to the other, and there shall thou serve other gods.
Yeah, because even going back to during that time, when you read the book of I believe it's Acts chapter 2, where Peter, the apostle Peter, he was given spiritual power to speak in different languages, speak in different tongues. Why? Because you had Israelites that were scattered in all of these different lands. As you read it, and if you can, I'll give me that as well. Give me Acts chapter 2. Because why was he given that talent to do that? So that he can bring them all back to the same fold, so to speak.
Acts chapter 2. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Yeah.
And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind.
Yeah.
And it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues,
Right.
like as of a fire. And it sat upon each of them.
Yeah.
And when they were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak with other tongues,
Yeah.
as the Spirit gave them utterance, and they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men,
Right. So they were dwelling in Jerusalem, Jews, devout men as well. I'm going.
out of every nation under heaven.
Yeah.
Now when this
And
was...
then also they were dwelling under every nation under heaven. So you had Jews, which were known as the because you had the Hellene and you had the Hellenistas. So the Hellene were the Jews that knew the customs, talking about obviously our people, right? That knew the customs, but they were also outside of Jerusalem. Because the Christians try to make it seem like that the Jews were only just stationary in Israel at the time. But no, you had actual Jews that knew the customs that were also scattered out of the land of Jerusalem. Go on, brother.
Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
Exactly. They were amazed, like, how are these people speaking in our language like this? Go on.
And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans?
Yeah, exactly, because you had Israelites that were in Galatia. Go on. That's why you have the book of Galatians, you have the book of Romans, you have the book of Ephesus, you had Israelites in Ephesus.
Go ahead.
Oh, you got it?
1 Peter 1 verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Yahawashi Mashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia.
Exactly. So our people became what? Strangers. Now when you read the scriptures in the New Testament, it makes reference to the Gentiles this and the Gentiles that. So again, you know, a simple-minded person, which we were all simple-minded at one, you know, point of time, we would actually read these verses coming from the Christian church, thinking that, oh, the actual Gentiles of the nations can make it. But no, the Gentiles that you read about in the New Testament were also Israelites as well, that were scattered in Cappadocia, Asia, etc. And that's why Peter was blessing the men that was with him to speak those different tongues to what's the word I can use? Right, to bring those Gentiles to integrate into the truth.
James 1:1.
Yes.
James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahawashi Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
Greetings. That's who the Gentiles were. I don't have to elaborate on that. That's who they were. Go on, brother.
Yeah,
So
because
they're
the whole
not. So the
point,
Gentiles are not. You see, the Gentiles are not.
because you have to
different
understand when the scriptures is talking about Gentiles coming back and being
You get
grafted
that
back
too.
into the olive tree, those are Israelites. Because you can't have, because the other nations, they're different manners of trees.
creed. How can they be?
We're the olive tree.
The Gentiles,
you can't
so
merge
you're saying the
a
Gentiles
willow
and the
tree
Hebrews
into
are the
olive-
same?
Say what?
The Gentiles and the Hebrews are the same.
No. The other nations, they're real Gentiles. The only reason why our people became the only reason why our people became known as Gentiles or heathens is because we were found not keeping the law. We were scattered because we were raised up among those nations. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So we grew up not growing our beards, not circumcising ourselves, not keeping high holy days. So according to the law of Moses, the ancient customs of the Israelites, you were cast out of the congregation. You was not even seen as being an Israelite.
That is what it is.
Because you're looking at being a heathen. So Acts chapter 10, when it goes into Cornelius, right, or Peter, he received a vision. You know about that vision, right? The sheep knitted to the four corners. You know about that? Basically, the Most High looked at us as being heathen. He cast us away as a people. Because according to the covenant, if you don't keep the law, the covenant, all these curses will come upon you, right? You're familiar with that.
Yeah. I'm just doing my little thing. I don't follow the same doctrine as you. Even though I've got my beard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
What country you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
Nigeria, or Igbo?
I'm Yoruba.
Yoruba.
Yeah.
Well, your people, you circumcise on the 8th day, no?
Yeah.
That's the,
No,
that's the
but
custom of your ancient
but you
forefathers.
see, things like that is here, because I remember about 15 years ago, majority of Hebrew Israelites was saying that African people were Hamites. Full stop.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I was a Hamite.
They weren't doing this. It's only now that the people have been saying this.
Yeah,
I've been trying to morph in. So me, I'm kind of like, you know what I mean?
Don't worry.
Because even some of the things there, I'm like to myself, no,
Bro, don't worry.
make no sense.
Don't worry. My granddad is Nigerian.
Yeah, no,
Benway.
yeah.
And I went to Lagos, yeah?
Yeah.
And one of the elders there, I went to Lagos because my dad's girlfriend, she has land there.
Yeah.
She has a house, so we stayed over at her house. Her brothers come over, and there's one elder guy came over, and he asked me, do I know where the Igbos come from? I said, yeah, because I'm into this stuff, so I know about the Igbos. And he said, our people came from Roman persecution. That's how he came to Africa. And he told me that. And I don't know this guy. He's not in the I don't see him out here prophesying, but he's a man of Lagos.
But you're just assuming that the Igbo and Yoruba people don't have a history.
But you're the same people. You're Bantu.
No. But you're saying they don't have a history that could even predate the Bible. That's what you're saying. You're saying that the Yoruba people don't have their own customs and their own styles.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, the people of West Africa,
Yeah.
Sierra Leone, Ghana, Cameroon, Angola, Uganda, certain tribes in Kenya, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, we're all the same people.
Yeah.
We're the same people.
You're talking about Bantu people.
Bantu.
Bantu, yeah. I know. I
We're the same
understand
people.
that, yeah.
You understand? Which means once upon a time we were together. We had one language, one custom, one belief system, one culture. We're not strangers towards one another. We're not like some alien. It's not like Nigerians are completely alienated from
Different nation.
from Ugandans or Ghanaians. We're complete different species of people. Like the Somalis, we're not related to them.
No.
Those are different. Those are Hamites. The people of Sudan, the tall, dark skin, they're Hamites. Yeah, the Ethiopian, the Eritrean, Hamites. The Namibians, they're Hamites. You see, Bantu, we have the same people. Yeah, which means that once upon a time we spoke the same language. We were speaking Swahili, Yoruba, different languages.
Okay, that's cool. But
So we're trying to tell you that
your
language that we spoke
is Hebrew. No, that's where we disagree.
You have to accept it.
Yes.
That's why we disagree with
Yes.
We disagree with that. I agree with the Bantu because I understand that.
Let me get.
Alright, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse
Now
68.
listen to this.
It says, "And Yahawah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you."
Read there again.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. "And Yahawah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships,
So we will be brought into bondage again with ships. Right?
by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
So that land that the Most High spake unto us, we're not going to see it no more again. That's the land of Israel, right?
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies,
There ye shall be sold unto your enemies, right?
for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
That came upon us. We were taken from west coast of Africa and taken to the Americas, then the Caribbean islands, and sold and auctioned them. That happened to no other people.
That happened to the people that were in the Caribbean and America. But
Right.
what about the people that were still in Africa?
So you're trying to say that we're completely different people?
Who?
We're the same people, bro.
Who? Hebrew?
Yeah, the so-called blacks in the Caribbean islands, North Central South America, they came from West Africa. We're the same people, man.
Because
All that talk about West Africa's being Hamites, those people that said that didn't really understand.
Yeah.
There was once, when I came into this truth,
Yeah.
like there's a group called ISUPK.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about
I know
it.
about it.
They wear the black. The leader is General Yahawah, right? They say that anybody from West Africa is a Hamite. So, and I first learned the truth from them. So I'm thinking I'm a Hamite. I thought I was condemned. I thought this. I kept praying. But then I started listening to Great Millstone. And then I still think I'm condemned. A year or two in, I'm still teaching in the highways by myself, thinking that maybe God will have mercy upon me because my mom's Jamaican. You know what I mean? Afterwards, I found out that no, I came across a camp in central London and they told me, no, man, the Nigerians, they're Israelites.
Yeah.
So there's been an ignorance. So you have to forgive my brothers if you feel offended by that. We're Israelites.
Yeah.
We're all here collectively. We're the same people, no matter where we're scattered.
So all of the Yoruba are Israelites. All of the Ashanti are Israelites.
Are Israelites.
No,
Why can't you see that?
because they have their own, their history is their history. They would have kept remnants of Hebrew, the Hebrew language or something would still with them. They don't have it.
All you lot do.
Where's the customs? I don't see the customs.
Because you lost them. Why do you think you've broken off? Think about it. Why do you think the different Bantu tribes, you all got different linguistic languages?
Right.
You developed all those customs, you developed those languages, but
across
those
the
are
time.
not the ancient ways, because once upon a time you were together. So you must have had the same language to understand one another.
That's true.
You must have. It makes sense.
That's true.
So you must think it through. We're trying to tell that we are a holy people. That's why we connect with the Bible more than any other.
No, but
Because it's a spiritual thing.
But there's a lot of other people that are connected to the Bible, isn't
Who?
there? Like the Irish and all of them, and There's so many.
Exactly, because the Irish-
even the British use the Bible.
Yeah, but they believe
the Union
that
Jack.
Renaissance Christianity.
You see that even the Union Jack, isn't it? That they're trying to say they're the house of is it Jacob or something like that. That's why you get the Union Jack.
Yeah, well,
there's many of them that say that the Bible is speaking to them.
They believe that Renaissance white supremacy Christianity.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
All the queen.
Now we're trying to tell you.
She says that she's related to Jesus, isn't it? She's the queen. She's saying her lineage.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That's BS, man.
That's what she comes
But
up
you have
with.
to understand, according to the Bible, according to our records, they're the serpent. They're built to deceive, to lie.
Now, did I just say one thing? Because you said something about the Irish, right? Now, whether you want to deal with it or not, the Irish are indeed Israelites as well. You understand? So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, right? Like, basically, when you really deal with it, being that our people have been scattered abroad.
No, they're crackers.
And all the above. No, all of them though, brother. But check this out. I'm not even mad about you if you feel that way because of what they did towards the people. I get it. But the reality still stands. At the end of the day,
you can't.
Let me finish.
Yeah, sorry.
You got our people that have been scattered abroad. So some of them, we're not saying all of them, because you got most of them could be crackers. Yeah. But you may have a remnant of them that could be our people too.
Because that's what I'm saying. A lot of our people, the Jews that were in Jerusalem, they didn't want them, because Paul, that was a controversy with Paul and our people that would be Christians. We didn't call ourselves that. They called us that in Antioch, in Turkey. They started first calling us Christians in Turkey. There was a big controversy between Yahawashi and his disciples, because what they were doing, they were teaching against ancient Mosaic law. Mosaic law stood that, listen, if you're an Israelite and you're not keeping, you scattered, not keeping the law, you're not one of us. You can't come into the temple. Paul was saying, no, the gospel is, according to Yahawashi, he died to reconcile us back unto God again. So they can be drafted back in. Their uncircumcision, if they start keeping the law, there's no difference between you lot and them. That makes their uncircumcision circumcision. So they can be grafted back in. They can be forgiven of their sins. If they believe, Yahawashi shed his blood for them, so they can be grafted back in, they can receive mercy. Because that's why he came. He came to die for the sins of Jacob.
It's a lot, brother, and when you really check it out, what's going on right now, that's what we're talking about, what's happening back then, because you had Israelites that thought they were different from the Israelites of Galatia, or vice versa. So you had all of this qualms that was going on in the midst of that time, but they were all the same people. They were all together. They were just one people.
That's why Paul said there's no difference, because we're all the same olive tree. Because that some of our Israelites are scattered and are being called heathens, strangers, outcasts. They've been estranged from the ancient way. So Paul said, listen, because there's some of our people that look like white people, but their father's father was one of us. Blue eyes, blonde hair, and that's hard to receive.
See, that makes it all get all mixed up.
Why?
That just makes it. You're saying it's coming from the father, isn't it?
It's from the seed of the man.
You know what? You don't know. How can you go? You can't go that back.
Exactly.
Far. No one.
We ain't got the records.
Yeah, no one's got that.
Exactly.
So you don't know.
Records.
Yeah, you don't know.
Thankfully,
look how much people in the Caribbean. It's a European man.
Exactly.
So when you say they're not Hebrew, then are they?
Wait. You got certain so-called black people that look black. But their daddy's daddy is a damn cracker, man.
But that's a lot of people in the Caribbean then, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, they're going to get simple. You have to understand that this what we're doing right now.
There could be amongst you. There could be amongst you, man. That's what I'm saying.
No, listen.
You don't know.
This is a spiritual thing. The Most High is grafting, gathering together his elect by his word. This is a spiritual thing. You can't be another nation and receive this wisdom or understanding. The only ones that's going to get saved is the elect. Do you understand what I'm saying? The majority of our people are not going to make it. Those of our people that look like our people but are actually other nations of people, they're going to get wiped out. They're tares. They're in the scripture, they're called tares. But let me get this. Let me show it to you. This is what we're gathered by. Hold on. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 30. Let me start from verse 36. O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from the Most High. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away, right? Because we were scattered. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of the Most High. This is a spiritual thing. You have to really understand that this is the Most High's work. He's gathering together his elect by his Holy Spirit. So my sheep hear my voice and they follow. So if you hear this word and it resonates with you, you're gonna think what your brother saying is kind of true though. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's hitting you, man.
No, I'm not gonna be a lie to you, no. I'm not really into the Bible like that. But
you're gonna read that the Bible is the records of
no, because number one, you have the doctrine for you guys is this, isn't it? That King James was a black person.
He was.
I can't accept that.
Why can't you accept that?
No,
But my man,
Don't you know we ruled Europe, man?
With the what? Can I speak on that though? See what it is with our people as well, right? We wasn't
no
taught.
disrespect, brothers. Yeah, go ahead.
School. We wasn't taught in these school systems, right? Because I went to school here, I went to school in America as well. And they're not going to teach the history of us actually being stationary here before the Edomites came in. Now, when you go into the history of Europe, if you can, get me Revelation, what you got already, and get Revelations 20.
Already got that.
You already
the
got
man
that?
wanted me to get that. Yeah.
Okay, come. Yeah, when you check it out now, during the time of Rome, something happened to where, and I'm talking about the Edomites. The Edomites were ruling Rome, the actual Rome itself, and then as centuries came further and further, we started to get up into the power seat of Rome.
Yeah.
And then we took over Rome. So in the midst of that time, more centuries later, we pretty much overthrew the Edomites already, so-called white people. So eventually there came a time when we had them as slaves. This is all in Europe. So during that time, even further on forward, we then pretty much occupied England and different parts of Europe, Spain, France. That's why you have the Moors. What does the term Moor mean? The word Moor goes back to the word black, which means Moreno. So if you had blacks that was actually ruling in Spain and Ireland in these kind of ends, how much more England? So King James, which he's coming from the royal elk, he would have to have been a so-called black man, because from the time when we came into power, around the time of I'll say around the 1st century AD, we took over the Roman Empire. But the scripture says that we ruled for 1,000 years, pursuant to Revelations 20, which we'll get into that. But anyway, from that time on and forward, we pretty much occupied Europe. But they're not going to teach us. They didn't teach us that. They just taught us that, oh, you come from Africa, or your people come from the sub-Saharan area because of your melanin, your dark skin, because you have Negroid features. But what they're not teaching you is that people migrated. People don't just stay in one spot. Now you got some nations that stay in one spot, but the majority of the people migrated. But let's just stick to one thing. The thing about it is that you had black kings. You had many black kings, and we should bring the book out, by the way. I got the book, right? You had many black kings that was actually dominating England and had the whites enslaved.
Yeah, because if you that's what's called Renaissance.
Yeah,
Renaissance, meaning that's when the 16th chapel, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, they started painting all the images of black people as being white, chopping off all the noses. Why? Because that's why I call it the Dark Ages. They don't teach about that in school. They don't teach about that in school.
No, I say it's dark because they were ignorant. That's why it was. That's why they call it it's dark, because they were ignorant at the time.
No, they say it's ignorant because they don't want to promote that we was ruling over them. They don't want to give us a sense of self-esteem. There's an agenda. You have to understand that there is an agenda to destroy the minds of so-called black people.
Yeah, of course. No
so if
doubt
they
about
teach that we was ruling in Europe over them, that's going to ruin their plan. They're not going to do that. They're the devil. Their job is to deceive us. Yeah. That's how you control slaves.
Yeah.
Take away their history, take away their language, make them think that there's niggas, and they'll be the perfect slave. That's it. You understand? So the Dark Ages, why? Because dark-skinned people was ruling all throughout Europe. We took over the ancient pagan Roman Empire. We sat in authority. It was called the Holy Roman Empire, Byzantium. We ruled for over 1,000 years. We had white people even in the caves. We ran them into the caves, or we had them subjugated underneath us. We're taking their women, popping their women, impregnating them. That's why a lot of them Italians, the Spanish, a lot of them Portuguese are dark skinned because they come from us. They're Israelites. The Moors, you heard of the Moreno? That was us. Israelites that were into the religion of Islam. but they were Israelites. All throughout Europe, Britain, Ireland, Russia. We have set up churches all in Russia. We've put icons, artwork of all the saints, the prophets, the holy men, and they all had afros, dark skin. Yeah? White man come along during the 1400s, started iconoclasm, he started defacing the images.
That's when they were
lighting them up, making them white. If you look, this type of icons.
Yeah, I know. I've seen all of them books. I know what you're
see it
talking
for
about.
yourself. So you know it's real. It's real. They could. Esau is so white, but he controls all the information that's being put out there. So that's why it's hard. It's difficult to accept the fact that he was actually ruling.
This is what I'm saying. He controls everything, but he doesn't control your book. He doesn't control the Bible.
He controls everything. Bro.
You listen.
Doesn't he control the Bible?
He can manipulate the Bible. He can create like the newly translated version. If you don't know, there's lies, there's a bunch of fucking lies.
Yeah.
The real version is the King James version. When you go into it, don't give me Job 30 and 30. Give me the color scriptures. Give me the color scriptures. You stay where you go. Job 30 and 30. Job 30 and 30.
Continue.
Job 30 and 30.
Job 30 and 30. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat.
Right. So now go give me your Solomon, Songs of Solomon 1 verse 5. Go.
Songs of Solomon.
Songs of Solomon. Solomon's song.
Though I'm black but comely.
Probably have to get something else like Songs of Solomon.
It's next to Ecclesiastes.
Yeah. That's off this. Yeah.
21.
One verse 5.
Songs of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black but comely, O you daughters of Jerusalem.
I am black. The word black, no one's black, no one's white. On planet Earth, no one's black or white. No one's turquoise, green. Okay? No one's purple. So even that in itself is deception. To call somebody, refer to yourself as being black. Our people is heavily indoctrinated in their minds and hearts to refer to ourselves.
We had a little agreement about this last week, innit? About
We're
black.
not black. Nobody's black.
No.
No one, or everyone, you're either melanated or you're not melanated.
No. The reason,
And
like you know the word Ethiopia.
Could I just interject this real quick, Salaki, right now? When you look up the definition of the word black, it's all negative. And you know the word that's why during the time of the Dark Ages, when you had the Moors, that's where you get the word more from. The word more means black. That's where you get the word even morgue from, or mortgage, so to speak. So when you're dealing with the definitions in itself, black, it's all negative. It's all like, for example, let's say you died. Let's say you're blind. Let's say you're blind on all of your eyes, right? You can't see nothing. You're in darkness. So the Bible, like when you read it, if you can, brother, hold on to what the one said though. Right?
They
got with the one said. Please give me Isaiah the 8th
They
chapter.
destroyed the black.
No, but check this out. No. Hear what I'm
negative.
saying. No, this is real talk now. Now, the term black, and even when you look up the percentage color of black, do you know it's actually 0%? So when you're calling yourself black, you're calling yourself under these negative terms, and you're actually saying that you're nothing as well. You get what I'm saying? You follow me? I know you don't want to accept it.
No, but you know life can't be produced without when we populate with each other. Life can't be produced without that blackness. You know that, isn't it? Life gets made out of that blackness. Like even down to the planting things
So
in
you're
the
talking about
earth.
melanoma, yeah, that plant's got it.
Yeah, even though when you're planting things in the earth, you see the way the best soil is the darkest soil.
Yeah,
So
I'm not.
That's brown though.
Yeah,
The
but
best
check this
side is the
out.
darkest.
But check this out,
The
bro.
best.
Like my man said, it's brown. We're not black people. We're brown people. Like society will say that he's black, but if you look at his skin tone, he's not black. He's with different shades of brown.
No one's black.
No one's black.
Yeah, again, it's psychological. That's how we in these.
We called ourselves black, and they called ourselves black because of when they saw us. You know what I mean?
8 and 20, please. Because even the scriptures talk about using the term darkness and